2, 1. You're now tuned into USSFCU Spotlight, where real conversations meet real people.
Today's episode, let's talk about it.
With all of our hosts, Tim, April, and Eddie.
Welcome back to the Spotlight Podcast. Today, we're ditching that sugarcoat small talk and instead we'll be roasting or defending some of the internet's unpopular hot takes on personal finance, boundaries, and wait, more than that. So locked in and try not to spill that on the eggnog. Let's kick things off with our personal hot takes, and I'll go first, guys. Back in 1979, there was a beautiful statement made by a NFL producer, Bob Ryan. And that statement has gone from generation to generation, and it has grown to be an actual fact. The Dallas Cowboys is America's team.
Absolutely not. Oh,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, finish. We may have to retake that.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought
No, that was good. No, you can do it. You can do that.
Okay, he said keep going.
The Dallas Cowboys are officially America's team. Back in 1979, as I mentioned, when the statement was said, more merchandise was sold by the Dallas Cowboys. More people tune in on their TVs to watch their games, and more people all over the country are Dallas Cowboys, even if you live in Dallas. AKA, look at me, I live in the DMV, and I'm a huge Cowboys fan. So April, Dallas Cowboys is America's team. What do you think, guys? Do you think that's true? You don't think that's true?
That is an interesting statement and interesting hot take. I heard April almost going nuts about that. Clearly living in the DMV, I can almost be assured that you are a Commanders fan.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What I'll say about the Cowboys, they had been nabbed as America's team. I don't know where that came from. I'll tell you this, and my oldest brother, Billy, is a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. And here's what I said to him. Were you born in Dallas? No.
Oh, here we go.
Then I asked, and then I asked, you ever been to Texas? He hasn't. He's my oldest brother, never been to Dallas. I'm like, now tell me again that you are this big Dallas Cowboy fan. Now look, I understand that you don't have to be from an area to like a team. But the Dallas Cowboy fans are just nauseating.
I'm the obsession.
It's like they're all over the place. It's like, go to Dallas. And I'll tell you this, real quick. So I was at a 7-Eleven once, years ago. And I'll tell you this, I do appreciate good football. Oh, yeah. So when Emmitt Smith,
Michael Irvin,
and Troy Aikman, and I always liked those players, right? So I was at a 7-Eleven early in the morning, and there was this little old man, he had to be like in his 80s. And I was standing around, it was before COVID, so, we were standing around making our coffee. After COVID, I started making my coffee at home. And this little old man was just standing there listening to a few of us talk. And I was like, man, the Cowboys with Irving and Smith and Troy, those guys are just awesome. And then finally, he looked at me and he said, so, young fella, have you ever been to Dallas? So I tell you, that is one of the things. And I had been to Dallas.
Yeah.
But the point is, the Dallas Cowboy fans, they just come all over the place and y'all are nauseating, man.
Even when we come play.
But I'll stop there. April.
Absolutely not. I mean, probably because the jersey's been discounted since the start of the name.
Not discounted.
Yeah, they're practically free. So because of that, that's why they're America's team, because the jerseys are cheap. But no, absolutely not. Commanders fan all the way.
Honestly, I'm gonna finish with this statement. Washington, D.C., Washington, Dallas Cowboys. That's all I have to say, guys. So
wow, that's an interesting take. I'd never heard that. D.C., Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys, exactly.
Okay.
They're dreamers.
Hey, one can only dream, right?
Eddie, I never heard that one.
You like that one?
That's nice. I like that. I absolutely
Put those away.
April, I think you have one too. So we want to hear it. We want to discuss it.
Okay. So this is kind of like a personal question.
Okay.
At what age should we be cutting our kids off financially?
Ooh.
Like, what's a good age?
That's a good one.
I'll say for me, I don't know. Like I feel like it's continuous. I feel like, depending on where they are in their career, they still may need support, and that's where I am. But I'm just trying to find that balance between helping and then also like just making it too easy for them. So I'm hoping I reach that point. I would say maybe if I had to give an age, how about 28? Because I think after that they've gone through
28.
college. Is that?
Is she pushing it? Are you pushing that?
Because I think I've gotten them through college, and then I've given them like a few years after that. To be able to take things
settled.
on their own.
Right.
What do you think?
And you want to be good parents, right?
Right,
And
for
you
sure.
certainly want to be
For sure.
good supporters, right? I believe this, having kids and grandkids, and my kids are like y'all's ages, right? And they never stop asking. And so when do you cut them off, right? Just last evening, my son, hey Pops, can you cash app you? So it's one of those things where if I believe, and here's the barometer for me, and here's how I'll gauge it, right? If it's a need, then I'm right there for them, notwithstanding the age. But if it's just a want, and I can tell you 95% of the time it's just a want, then I say cut them off when they get out of high school. Okay, college.
College, okay.
Cut them off when they get out of college.
So I think, one thing that I heard from you both, and that I'm taking in as well, because I feel like, I have my daughter as well, right? But she's very young. But I know that you have more experience being parents, you have, multiple kids. What I'm trying to say with that is something that Mr. Tim emphasized a lot is, me as a son, like let's say, for example, I don't want to depend on my parents at a certain age, asking them for money all the time. But what if an emergency happens? And I think that's what the difference is. Like, April, I don't think, like, for example, we can cut off, like, let's say you gave your daughters an allowance, let's say a certain amount of money weekly. To an extent, you can help them, but once they get a job, once, like you say, college, Mr. Tim, then you can cut that off. But, the important thing to say is, like, that if the emergency arises, then we, as parents, we have the obligation. I would say, it's not even an obligation. We do it because we love them.
Right.
We want the best for them. Is to help them out, So you can cut off like that consistent, I guess, allowance coming in weekly. But as Mr. Sim say, like, hey, if they want a Cash App, Venmo, whatever it is, we can support them.
And I said that jokingly with my son, and he's gainfully employed and does very, very well.
Yes.
But I tell you this, one of the things that he and I, and even my daughter, we were having conversations about, in this economy, it's real tough, right?
It is.
And my son is very gainfully employed, but he goes, Pops, it's hard to buy a house in this economy.
Yeah.
Because the supply, there's less supply. Then with all the economic conditions, right? Yeah. And then housing prices have not come down because that's still a thing. And so it is hard for young people, notwithstanding their age, to enter into the market. This is certainly a great golfer. But for me, I started playing golf because of Tiger. And Tiger Woods, whenever he's not in a golf tournament, the ratings are down. So when he's in a golf tournament, the ratings are up exponentially. And he brought the casual fan to golf. I love golf, and I'm going to play golf regardless. But that fan who says, I'm watching because it's entertainment and an event, Tiger brought that individual, and no other golfer has ever done that. So my view is Tiger Woods brought the casual fan to golf, and if Tiger doesn't play in a golf tournament, fans don't watch.
You know what? I have to agree with you. I would not know golf if it was not for Tiger Woods. I am not a golfer. But one day I do want to like drive around in a golf cart, just because I just think that
Like Happy Gilmore,
But you, and to that point, you probably watched the golf tournament because of Tiger.
Absolutely.
right.
Simply
Absolutely.
not because of the love for the game. I'm going to play it because I love the game.
Yeah.
Other golfers who are golfers are going to play it because they love the game. But when Tiger, I tell you, the networks love it when he's in an event.
That's right.
When he's not playing and he's hurt right now, the golfers will watch, but that fan that watched because it was Tiger, they don't tune in.
And I'm just like amped up just to see him continue on just winning. You know what I mean? Like just that household name for me, and just making sure, that he just keeps going, in his craft. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I think that speaks volume of how can one person influence sports in this case. Like when you think about golf, if you do trivia, most likely you're gonna get a Tiger Woods question, honestly, because that's that name that that you relate to it. When you see the LPGA, is that what it is?
The LPGA, the ladies tour, and the PGA is the men's tour.
Yeah, the PGA. Thank you. You see that the logo, and then you think of Tiger Woods, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like basketball, the first thing that comes to mind, not the younger generation can discuss, of course, but I feel like for like the ones that have been watching basketball for a long time, when you relate basketball, you think Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So that's
absolutely.
it shows you like the influence that a person can have. When you think soccer, you think about Pele and Maradona back in the day. So I feel like in the sports, and any industry that you think of, the one person can make the difference, and it's about the marketing, the branding. I'm in marketing, so that's the reason why marketing comes to mind. But like you're saying, Tiger Woods is a big influence in golf.
And they transcend the sport, right? So, and you mentioned MJ, Michael Jordan. Not only just basketball. I mean, you walk around and you look down at everybody's feet.
Yes.
Not today, but at times that I have my Jordans on.
That's right.
And so Michael Jordan was more than just basketball.
That's right.
Tiger Woods, more than golf, he really blew up the sport.
That's right.
And brought people like April, who normally wouldn't watch golf, but she tuned in because Tiger was playing.
Absolutely.
And then I like the fact that you said about the shoes, because when you think about sneakers, Jordans come to mind.
Yeah.
That's goals right there. Going to sleep, wake up with a couple more millions in your account. I think we gotta, that man has it made, because that speaks the branding and the volume. And as April was saying, I'm sorry, Mr. Tim, you were saying that, Tiger Woods brought everybody, to love the game. To understand it a little bit more, because otherwise, if Tiger Woods is not playing, people are like, why am I even watching? So that speaks volume. I like that.
Really quick, how many pair of Jordans you have?
Oof.
Oh, sisters is gonna air. I think I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
Mrs. Christian, thank you. But I'll say this. I have a pair of Jordans a few times over for every outfit I have.
Oh, it has to match.
It has to match.
It has to match.
Correct.
I played the fifth too. I'm not gonna discuss that, disclose that information. I'm just kidding, but I have a lot, and just as Mr. Tim, I try to, match as well. Even though my colleagues give me a hard time, she knows who she is, but it's okay. We're making it happen. All right, so thank you so much. So as you can see, Dallas Cowboys arguably is Americans,
Arguably,
team.
I like that, and
You
that's
have to be
why I
honest.
threw in Tiger Woods.
Yes.
Arguably is the best golfer ever, because I get the fact that Jack Nicklaus won more majors, right?
That's right.
But Tiger Woods brought something to golf that Jack didn't. And again, in fairness to Jack, I didn't grow up during Jack's era. But let me just go back with the Jordans too.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave an impression. You can get Jordans so discounted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want you to, or someone can give them to you, which I've had that happen many times.
Yeah.
So
It's like those Dallas Cowboy jerseys.
right. They're not
like,
costly.
Just like those Commanders tickets, the stadium be empty. But anyways,
The stadium is empty. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. So as you can see, Tiger Woods make a difference in golf, and then as you were saying, when should you cut off your kids from, the allowances or the monetary help that you can provide them? But now, the internet has a trend, which people have shared their hot takes. There's so many topics out there that they're talking about. So I think we're gonna pull, papers from this bucket. Let me go first, and we're gonna read them and discuss them. Is that okay with you all?
Let's go.
All right, let's
Let's
do it. So let's see the first one. Oh, it's not a raffle. Sorry, guys. I thought it was a raffle. The first one. Everyone thinks the younger generations are bad with money until it is time to split a restaurant bill. So, interesting.
So read that one again.
Yes, it says, everyone thinks that younger generations are bad with money until it is time to split a restaurant bill.
You know,
What do you think?
I think I'm always out with my kids, and I never split the bill with them. I'm always on go for the bill. So I think, but I feel like with my kids, when they go out with their friends, there's like this understanding of everyone paying their own bill, what the split needs to be, and it just goes smoothly, you know. So I wouldn't say it's just young folks, because I know my kids tend to be a little, you know, a little tight on money, you know, and kind of try to hold on to it as much as they can, because it doesn't come around as often as they probably would like. So I would say this generation is a balance.
So I think, you know, to your point, April, I think like at least millennials, you know, I'm a proud millennial. I don't think we're bad with finances, or we might not have the money. But hey, if you get the opportunity for your parents to pay for that meal, like you're saying, I might take advantage. And I think any generation would take advantage. Like, let's say, for example, I'm with some friends and like, oh, you know, Eddie, we got you. I'm not going to argue that. You know, if you're going to get me, you want to get me, you know. But, and of course, you know, the next time if they want me to pay, I will do that as well. So to your point, I think it's more of like a personal thing. I don't think it's a generational thing, because as we discussed in one of our podcasts, which please, by the way, watch it, Mr. Don was talking about how there's poor people in the younger generations.
Right.
There's people out there that are close to retirement and they're still struggling, like, how am I gonna keep paying my mortgage? You know,
Right.
do I need to keep working until 80 years old?
Yes.
So it's one of those things that across the generations you see the struggle. But hey, if somebody wants to give a free meal, say yes.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So my take is simply this: I know with my family, my kids probably could pick up the bill at times. I don't know, because normally it's the kids and the grandkids, so the bill is pretty heavy. To your point, as long as I continue to pick it up and my wife continue to pick it up, they aren't going to say, hey, Pops, you know, I got this. My son would say Pops and my daughter would say Father. Father, I got this. That just doesn't happen.
Yes.
And it's simply because I think there's an expectation that I would pick up the bill. With respect to splitting it, gosh, I don't know that even when I'm out with colleagues that, you know, we ever do that.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like if I'm out with colleagues, maybe the CEO, let's say another credit union, and we're having a meeting, he or she would say, hey, I got it this time.
Yes.
And you get it next time.
And you get it next, exactly.
Right. So we wouldn't split it.
Yeah.
We sort of understand that it's a business lunch.
Correct.
And that kind of permeates also in my personal life, right? But you all are giving me something to think about. I'm gonna say that, and my wife, she works. I'm like, honey, let's split this jump. So, you know, but I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I know there was a trend on the internet, and it was like the husband picking up the bill, and it was like, honey, do you want to split it or not? And depending how the answer was, that's how the night went. So you know that's you should look at that trend. It's very interesting.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Y'all just gonna get me in trouble.
And I think
I'm never gonna tell her let's split this.
No. We gotta spoil, you know, our significant others. And as April was saying, it's a balance, you know. And
Right.
what Mr. Tim was saying, when it comes to like the business environment, it's about okay, I got it this time, next time you got it. You know, yes, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, type of thing. And whenever you know, getting something from somebody, you should always return it, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
April, you want to pick another one?
All right.
Let's see what you got.
Hey, if you can't talk about money, you're not ready for a relationship. Financial vulnerability is a bigger deal than emotional vulnerability.
I got something
Okay,
to say
take
about
it,
it. You want to
yeah.
go?
No, go ahead.
So, I like the last part that you say, that financial. You gotta talk about that finances, you know, especially if you're gonna get serious with that person. In my opinion, does the love that I have for that person? I might just give an example, and this is something, you know, out of thin air. I'm not, you know, it's not a reality or anything like that. But what if that person that I wanna get serious with has a $150,000 debt Do I love them enough to take on that debt? Or am I gonna say, I love you, but from the distance? So it's one of those things that you gotta think about those things, because you can love that person, but loving is not gonna pay those $500 monthly payment that you're doing on that 150,000 debt that they might have, and so it's one of those things that you gotta consider. Do I really love this person? Now, if it is an example, $150,000 on something that's very meaningful, maybe they went to college to get a PhD and now they're practicing their career. Why not help them out, because they're providing to the household as well.
Right.
So that's my opinion.
Right. I think this. I mean, certainly, whenever you enter into a relationship, finances are paramount, right? I think you have to discuss those, because we all have different views. We come up in different environments about finances, and that kind of accountability. So I think you have to discuss it.
Yes.
I think you have to have a clear understanding of if the relationship is a budding relationship and it's really turning into something. I mean, those finances oftentimes will commingle, will start mingling together.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be some discussion, and I think that clearly you want to, in this day and time, or any day and time, I think that just a financial situation matters, and we teach that at our credit union when we go out, through our financial literacy and financial inclusion. We talk about that in the basic skills, because we start early.
That's right.
So that foundation is set, right? And so once you do that, I think when we get up to a point that we're entering into a relationship, we should have some responsibility about our finances, but it starts early.
That's right.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback off what you all were saying, as we see in the financial industry, sometimes people have had a rough start.
Yeah.
And along their financial journey, they've picked up some knowledge. And you may be meeting somebody when they're in that knowledge picking up phase, right? But they're changing their mindset, they're changing their views on how they're looking at their finances, and they may come with some baggage, because we see that in as we are looking at credit reports, and we're making sure that our members are financially sound, and with that, do you give them a chance? Because as you can see, they've had a rough start, but they are, striving to be better, even though, things kind of, started off a little rough. So I think it depends on the person's mindset and where they are in that journey, and to see whether or not, I'm like you, Eddie, do I want to love you from a distance, or you're worth the investment.
Yeah, and I think that
worth the investment. Interesting. Yeah, no, and that's real talk, right? I mean, that is real talk, and with finances. When you're talking about finances, you better have some real talk, because you can't have these surprises popping up. Because I tell you this, it can destroy your relationship too.
Absolutely.
I've seen relationships, folk part relationships. They will just go their separate ways simply over finances. Not that they don't love you anymore, but finances can really drag on a relationship. So to your point, I believe they better have that conversation and have some real talk about it.
No, definitely. And the attitude, like you're saying, like perhaps this person didn't have the resources that perhaps, let's say, for example, I got, like I learned early in my life what a credit card was, what a mortgage was, and things like that. But if they have the attitude like, I want to learn from you, how do you do things? I think that will make the difference. But if that person is like, nah, you only live once, YOLO, I might just, throw that money out there like there's not tomorrow, then you might want to consider that as well. Because there has to be a balance at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, I think you can have more money in your pocket when you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, right? Because those jerseys are discounted. I mean, sorry.
Because we could go on forever about that, about the discount.
All right. Financial independence doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like responsibility with more options. Financial independence doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like responsibility with more options.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that. I think, in a sense, you feel when you have options, I think that gives you that peace of mind, that freedom, to choose. Unfortunately, sometimes depending how your life is, what you're going through, perhaps you might not have options, that you got to go to that one resource. But when you have that independence here, that you can make different decisions, and you have options like, oh, instead of doing this, why don't I don't do that? I think it gives you that freedom, like, hey, you know what? I can choose what's best for me. And by going back to learning about finances, we all do finances differently. So I think, when you have those options and you see the pros and cons and what's best for your pocket, I think that's when you get that freedom, that sense of freedom, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I have to agree with everything that you said, Eddie. Having options and just being able to go different avenues when you need to is just so helpful. It's a peace of mind in that, and it does give you a sense of being in terms of being able to financially support yourself, just feeling the easiness of being able to make sure that your finances are taken care of and you're being responsible.
I concur with both of you. I was just kind of rethinking the take, and financial independence to me can be freedom.
Yeah.
And obviously you have the responsibility and the options throughout, but I believe getting to financial independence can be a sense of freedom, right? I know there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about, and I'm paraphrasing, that money kind of solves things, right? And if you think about that, it's not saying that we all should, because there's another scripture that says the love of money
is the root of all evil.
Not money itself, but the love of money, right? And so this the scripture that talks about money cures things and cures all. And I think the interpretation there is, we live in this world, you gotta have it. And so I think once you have money to do the things you need to do, it does come with some freedom, right? And I think, but responsibility. We were just talking about how in a relationship, with your finances, you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible. You can't go out and go to Vegas and blow it all.
No, you can't.
Because you have kids, you have college tuition to pay, you have those things to do, and you have to have some responsibility with your finances.
As you heard from the panelists, here, in the podcast, that financial freedom, it's a great feeling, you got to be responsible with it. And you as a member, we want to make sure, all potential member, we want to make sure that you've had that sense of, financial freedom. So contact us, we have a solution for you. That's the reason why we have these amazing products and services for you to have that, financial stability and peace of mind as well. Because I believe that with all this that we discussed, it brings that peace of mind as well. So
that peace of mind, and it goes back to who we are as a credit union, right? Again, that financial inclusion, financial literacy, start young. And that's what I love about our credit union.
Yes.
Our teams are out there in the schools. Through our foundation, we're doing a lot of financial empowerment,
Yes, we are.
education, because it starts there, right?
That's right.
And we have online portals where they can go and learn about basic budgeting, investments, those types of things. One of the things that former, and this is a great discussion, I love this one on finances, former NCUA board chair Rodney Hood, and he was also recently appointed by President Trump to be the comptroller of the currency. He was acting comptroller of the currency, and he was the chair of the NCUA, our regulator. And Rodney Hood always said this, and it just resonates with me. He said, financial inclusion is the civil rights issue of our day.
Wow.
Think about that. Financial inclusion is the civil rights issue of our day. It's just that important that we start young, teaching people how to handle their finances, and then you can have that freedom.
That's right. Now you heard from the best. We provide financial literacy here at United States Senate Federal Credit Union. Of course, in partnership with our USSFCU Foundation. Check us out. We have all the websites and all the resources as well. All right, let's go to another one. Listen. Let's listen to this one. Doing a no spend January doesn't fix a December spending problem. You can detox your way out of long-term money habits.
One more time.
One more time. Doing a no spend January doesn't fix a December spending problem. You cannot detox your way out of long-term money habits.
And I'll start. I'll just say you got to have good habits.
Yes.
You got to practice those things. And I know I sound like a broken record, but we are a credit union that provide that kind of financial literacy and providing lifetime financial solutions, right, to our members. So I believe that you got to have the right habits, but it starts early, because if you don't, you can end up in some of these areas where affordability and those types of things, and that's a big thing in our society today anyway, with all the economic concerns. But I think if we practice those good habits, we can really do better even during tough financial economic times.
That's right.
Good habits is key, because we offer solutions. We do consolidation loans, and you kind of got yourself in a situation, and you're looking to have a fresh start, as we've been talking about. And then if you don't develop those habits to improve and change the philosophy in your mindset, then you'll be back there again. Now you have this consolidation loan, and you're continuing to get in more and more debt as you go along. So habits, developing positive habits is key.
I agree with you both. I like the fact that it says that you cannot solve. Let me read one more time. It says that doing a no spend January doesn't fix a December spending problem. I'm gonna give you a great example. And Mr. Tim, on Monday we went to do a check donation, presentation. We were together and we're talking about different topics in the vehicle. And then one of the ones that resonated with me, how you were expressing how it's so nice to have family together for the holidays, but at the same time you see the other side of how society has idolized spending, like, oh, you gotta spend, they have kind of forgotten like the reason why we spend the holidays, and it's all about being together with your family.
That's right.
Counting our blessings and things like that. But so many people, and I'm sure there's some data out there that in December, I'm sure is like the hot month where people are getting more debt probably, because they're they're maximizing their credit cards, they're taking loans, as April was saying, perhaps things that they didn't need to take that personal loan, but because they want to please everybody, and because they have idolized spending, is one of those things that people get in trouble or financial trouble for no reason, in my opinion. I know sometimes you definitely need to use it because it's an emergency, you need to pay for that medical bill or whatever it is, but some people are just getting into these bad habits, like, oh, every December I need to max my credit card. And then sometimes, because not all, sometimes the interest that you're paying on that it is so high that minimum payment that you're doing for the next 12 months is not enough. So you already have that from the last December. You're paying the minimum for those 12 months for the new year, and then next December, oh, I gotta get back on my credit card, and you haven't even finishing from the year before. And that's the key. So, the commercialization of Christmas, right? Not understanding what the holidays are all about. The commercialization of that, and so all that December spending. And that's my big thing, and I even share this and have conversations with my family about this. You're putting yourself in the debt for years. It takes a while to pay those credit cards off, so it just makes no sense. And again, I'll go back to, that's why we start teaching as a credit union early, right? The financial literacy part. It makes no sense to go out and spend, max out all of your credit cards, and then 5 years from now, you're still paying for what you just spent December of 2025. That's right. But check our credit cards. We have the lowest interest, some of the lowest interest in the nation. Please check us out. We have so many rewards, that come with that. So please check us out on our website. We have so many products and services. And that's a great pivot, because we don't want you to think that our conversation means that you don't get our credit cards. We've got the best credit cards out here. Yes, we do.
And then we're going to give you some webinars, free webinars. We're going to give you some free resources to help you balance and navigate, being able to use it responsibly, and not be able to get yourself in any situation that will take years for you to clean up. That's right. So next time that you are doing something
something with your money habits, make sure that you're mindful that can have a great impact. You can have the results, let's say that 20% off at the retail store if you get our credit card. You get the discount at the moment. But that's going to affect your credit, Perhaps it's going to take a bunch of, hard pulls on your credit. You just be very mindful of your money habits.
That's why you have all those discounted Cowboys jerseys out there, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. No comment.
April would not let you get.
No, she won't.
She was all over
You
that.
tagged him in.
All right. Next up, people say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy convenience, and convenience is happiness.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one. And again, here's the old PK in me again, pastor's kid. I go back to that scripture that money solves all things. That particular scripture, and sometimes we take it out of context. So I don't believe money can buy happiness. I believe it is just an array of things. It's a combination of things that make us happy, and it's different things that make all of us happy, right? Money is a central part because finances can tear relationships apart.
Yes.
But I don't believe that money alone can make anyone happy.
That's right.
I think it plays a part.
I think money, it's important, but it shouldn't be a priority in your life. Why? Because we hear so many cases how people, they get stressed, they get anxious because they're having money problems. Or when you have too much, but I want more. You have to have that balance. And I think we have spoke about in some of these hot takes, how balance is priority, should be key. And also, it might not bring you happiness, like as Mr. Tim was saying, money alone doesn't bring you happiness, but it can give you that peace of mind because you're paying the bills on time, because you are providing for your family. You can have those options, as we were saying earlier. So money on its own doesn't give you that happiness, but it can bring you that tranquility that you need in your life, that hope.
Right.
Everything is taken care of, just like everything in life. That as long as your vehicle is taken care of because you're doing the maintenance, as long as the college is taken care of because you send your kids to college and you're paying. I think money is another element. That brings that peace of mind to your life.
Absolutely.
I'll just keep it short because I agree with both of you said. I don't believe money can just buy happiness, because money cannot buy peace
Right.
or time.
Oof.
Peace or time. And that's why it's got to play a role, right? Because and you hear folk say often, I'd rather have it than not have it, right?
Right.
So, because it can make me unhappy if I don't have it.
Right.
But we've got to keep everything in perspective. It cannot buy peace. It cannot buy happiness.
No.
That tranquility that you talked about. I mean, we need that in our lives, right? Money can't buy that, but money can buy a lot of things.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Tim,
Okay,
give us
it's
the
my turn
honor.
again.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe this is the last one.
Is this the last one? And I think I threw the other one back in. I hope I didn't pick
Not to pick it
the
up.
same one. Okay, thank you, Eddie. Buy now, pay later is just credit debt within our interface. Buy now, pay later, and you all have heard that, right? With buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm a fan, honestly. I'm a fan of buy now, pay later because sometimes, even though you have the money in your account, you don't want to see that big hit, So, you know what? Why don't I pay it later? Or do like instead of, because another one that buy now, pay later comes to, okay, buy it now, and then you can get it, you pay later in 4 plans or 4 payments, So
Right.
I'm like, okay, those $300 that are going to come out of my account, I don't get that big hit right away. I get 50 here, 50 there. Oh, that's perfect. But that's
So-
just me, honestly. So I'm a numbers guy and I'm very visual. So I guess seeing the money coming less, even though it's multiple times, it works for me.
And that's a good take. So I want to hear your take again. Buy now, pay later is just credit card debt with outer interface. Buy now, pay later.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's easy. It is. It's something that you don't have to. If you don't already have established credit, it's for folks that like while you're just searching the internet and you're just looking to put something inside your cart. It's instant. It gives you that instant gratification. So I totally agree. I think it's easier to get into. than having to get a credit card or having to get a loan. And then even with the younger generation, and even with my daughters, I've seen that they've utilized it. And it's worked for them as long as they're doing it responsibly. And I've even used it as well. So I would say it's a quicker version of getting in a little bit of financial trouble.
Right.
Yes.
So it's interesting, and I'm smiling because, and I wanted to hear you all's take. Clearly, buy now, pay later is a thing. With fintechs and different financial institutions, you hear it all the time. It's just a thing. And so, without dating myself, so one of our C-suite folk here, leaders, we started discussing it, buy now, pay later. And instantly, I said to him, dude, that's just layaway. So I'm dating myself, right? I'm like, that's just layaway. I remember the day that we'd walk in to a store, and my millennials are probably saying, because I always say that my millennials and Gen Zs, they think I'm the coolest CEO with my sneakers and the way I dress, and my Jordans and all of that. But they're probably saying right now, like, dude, what's layaway? But buy now, pay later. On a serious matter, I agree with both of you. I mean, I think it's certainly an easier way. I think it's kind of taken our society by storm, and especially with our Gen Zs and millennials.
Absolutely.
Now, I think to a point, I say it's convenient, and it's definitely convenient, but it can be dangerous. Why? Because I start buying things, buy now, pay later, and then I'm like, I still got this amount in my checking account. I can still spend.
Right.
And next thing you know, you forget that the money's coming.
Gotta have that discipline, and that goes back to what we do, right?
Yeah.
Teaching early those basic skills that hopefully you will get that discipline. But buy now, pay later, layaway.
And it's like the 4 payments interest free.
Oh.
It's always going to get you, right? Like, ooh,
Right, right, each time, honestly.
How can you deny that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
But be responsible. That's I think that the main takeaway.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's right.
You gotta be responsible throughout your life cycle and your finances.
That's right.
Okay, this has been amazing. Thank you all so much. So thanks for joining the debate on this episode of Spotlight Podcast. If you're craving more hot takes and candid conversations, dive into our archive for previous episodes on adulting and finance, cybersecurity, and much more. As we head into the holiday season, from our family to yours, we wish you a safe, happy, blessed, and joyful holiday season.
Happy holidays.
Have yourself a Merry Christmas. Kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.